earlier today, but I just had a lot of stuff to talk about earlier, so I wanted to come back on live here. My content does get pretty shadow banned, so I do appreciate anybody who does show up, anybody who shares the content and allows it to circulate a little bit more. Means a lot to me. We had 125 people in here earlier, and that was cool. Some people left when we talked about mining stocks and other things, but that's to be expected. But in this live, we're going to focus on XRP. We're going to focus on what's coming this weekend, and we're going to see if and when we do fall down. I'm going to show you a very easy tool to use. If you have no idea what Bitcoin CME gaps are, I'm going to show you the easiest way to find it. Without even having to pull up a chart, just use AI, just so you can get on the same page so you understand where the bearish gaps are. And I'm going to show you how easy it is in a couple minutes here, once, a few people get in here and, we start to see who's going to define themselves in here and yada, 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 so on and so forth. Some people ask why I come on so much. High work ethic. I like to share the stuff I know, and there's a very dedicated core that'll continuously show up and watch, despite it being bullish, bearish, indifferent. And they, excuse me, you in particular crave what I crave. So there's strength in numbers, and I like the strength of community. I can't explain it more than that. I like the strength of community. It's always suited me well. Shane, welcome in. Poppy Lou, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Means a lot to me, my friend. Aaron R. and Defined Coop, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Really, really appreciate it. Jorge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. And also a very trusted mod. He says, hello, people. Hello, Tom. Please hit the like button on the way in to show your support for Tom and his channel to YouTube. Yeah, and in a minute, after I say the intro, and we get through the core here for the first couple of minutes, I'm going to show you a simple way to find that gap. We know where it's at 91,000 area, roughly, between 91 and 92.5, somewhere around there. I like to go to the lowest possible number, so around 91,000 and some change. But I'm going to show you how to dissect that, even if you have no idea how to do technical analysis, just by using AI that everybody has. Because it scatters through the. So anyhow, Keith Morgan, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor, along with Frankie Fresh. Hope you guys are having a blessed day here, indeed. Tanya May, welcome in, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. I love seeing you in here. It's going to be a great live, I can already tell by the group of people. Did I mention the core? The core is strong. I love the core. Joseph Euler, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Good evening to you, my friend. AUB, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. And you can always tell when there's a shadow ban because you won't see, the only comments you'll really see, I'm being dead serious, will be people that are in the community, so they're seeking it out. They're in the Telegram, because you're not seeing any random chat. So, it would be greatly appreciated if you guys would share this for me and we try to bust the algorithm a little bit. Alec Tony, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. I forgot my son just fell asleep, so I need to try to be a little quiet. But I do appreciate every single one of you, and I mean that, every single one of you who are part of this audience and continue to show up. XRP Zombie, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Thank you so much. So, for everybody watching right now, if you're watching now or if you're watching after, we'll go over with XRP real quickly what we need to maintain, or it's going to get very ugly here, and we could be seeking out that $1.50. And I know you guys are getting sick of me talking about the fair value gap, but I have to until it's passed and it's in our rearview mirror. We can't say it's not there. So we're going to be honest here. We're going to show the reality of it. And the people who show up, we know the audience base when we get into a bearish time, and we know the audience base when we get into a bullish time. I prefer to have it flipped, less people when we're bullish and more people when we're bearish, but, that's, yeah, I sent out the notification just now, Tanya. I just sent one out to see if it would reach more people. So I'm glad that it actually hit somebody. I'm glad it reached you, too. So with XRP this weekend, once you fall below $2.09 in real time, but if you go out to Sunday, you could say, well, $2.09, $2.07 in the Sunday. Yeah, 2079, 2077. But once you fall through here, this is where you fall back into the pattern. And then it opens up the door to the bottom of the gap. And that's the fair value gap. That's what I was so disappointed by back here in April when it came down to $1.62, $1.61.8. And I'm sitting there and going, man, we just dropped from the top. Not just that, there's another factor here that I don't really want to, I don't talk about often, but I'm going to talk about tonight. But 51% drop, and it could not just alleviate the pressure and drop the last 3.5%, which is 9% in totality if you just take it from the core basis of dropping from $1.61.8 down to $1.50. But in totality from the drop of the head. Now the other issue we have here, right? If this does break down, you have to hold at worst, and this could drag on, you would have to hold no worse if you get into August and this starts dragging on. You have to hold that $1.32 no matter what. I don't care. I don't care how ugly it gets. We have to hold that $1.32 at all costs. It's actually like $1.34, but I'm going to give us grace. But $1.34 is what we really need to hold at all costs if we're being honest. And we don't want this to be any worse than this. You know, we don't want it to be any worse than this, even if we drag this on. You don't want it to be any worse than that, because once it is, well, then you got to talk to the piper. And what happens when the piper comes around? He wants payment. True story. That's why they always told me to pay the piper. And I'm like, who the hell is this piper? And why the fuck am I paying him so much? But I'll tell you what, over my 41 years, I paid the piper a lot. Call it a stupid tax. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Oh, baby. Take the elevator up. Take the stairs down. Now, where do they end? Where do they end is the question. Where do they end? Cat S, welcome in as well. I'm so glad to see you in here in all these lives now. It makes me happy. Makes me happy. So, with that being said, that is exactly what we have to do this weekend. We cannot, which we will, but we cannot fall below this part. We're probably going to. I don't really see a way around this. And then, if you're looking to figure out the CME gap and you have no technical analysis ability, or even if you do, and you want to see if you're seeing right, go to your local Gemini. It's the AI on Google. Or you can just go to your own, and now you do this.
As of June 13, 2025, there are discussions among traders about a Bitcoin CME gap between $91,970 and $92,525. This is a commonly discussed level that some analysts believe Bitcoin may revisit to fill the gap. It's important to remember that CME gaps are areas on the Bitcoin futures chart where the price jumps due to the CME market closing over the weekend, while the spot Bitcoin market trades 24/7. While many traders believe these gaps tend to get filled eventually, it's not a guaranteed outcome, and other market factors play a significant role in price movements. While sources may have slightly varying figures,
90%.
there's a general consensus among traders and analysts that a significant percentage of Bitcoin CME gaps do get filled eventually. Most sources agree that at least 65% of CME gaps are filled. Some even suggest a fill rate exceeding 90%.
So, if you look at it and you start to play with it, just knowing the terminology, even if the only thing you got out of here is knowing what a CME gap, and that's at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, that's the futures. If you don't know what the CME is, that's what you need. You know, so I'm trying to take the AI, I'm trying to take what I know, I'm trying to take past trading styles, what I learned as trading styles, and now the new and incoming. So the cool thing about being 41 is I was part of this earth. I'm the last part of the earth and the generation. And it was a very small gap where you were born in the old technology, but you transitioned to the new technology, and you're still young enough to be in the current technology, if that makes sense. So I knew the old school. I knew the transition to what we knew, and now it's looked at the old school. And now the stuff that I knew when I was first born was historic. But I also know the new technology. So I'm young enough to where I'm still very much locked into the new technology. As to where my dad is 66 and my mom is 63, they're a little older and it's going to be harder for them to adapt because they came up through the old system. They were young enough when I was a kid to learn my system, but now it's kind of going over their head because they're like, I just want to fucking retire for Christ's sake. So, that's why you have to look at these things. Now, could I have said, people are like, oh, well, that's so easy to just go to AI and say, well, where's the CME gap? If you didn't know what the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the futures was or what the CME gap is, how would you know to ask it? Me, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known to ask that question. Oftentimes, the only reason we don't know is because we've never been told and we don't understand and we don't know. I couldn't ask it if I don't know. So by being in here, you're going to know some of the things that I know. So whether that's good or bad, you're going to hear a side of things you might not have known. How many of you before you watched me even knew there was a Chicago Mercantile Exchange? Be honest. I'm not judging. Before I started this YouTube channel, I never even studied it that deep. I knew there was a CME, I knew the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, but I didn't know the validity of the CME gaps. I didn't know how it tied into the futures market. Like, there's so much I was leaving on the table when it came to crypto that it was disgusting. And other things. Let's see. Miko, welcome in. Good to see you in here, my friend. Crypto Cooter, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Love it. Pablo, welcome in. 80s baby indeed. Yes, sir. 1983 here myself. But the 80s babies, especially from, I would say, there's a tug here. 1978 to about 1989, and bottom end to the top end. But anywhere between 1978, I would say, and 1989. 89's even getting a little old, like 87 maybe. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, so we're trying to understand. So I haven't messed with this part of it. I should have done this. Now that I think about it.
A fair value gap,
No.
FVG in crypto or any financial. A fair value gap, FVG, is a concept in technical analysis, particularly popular among smart money concepts. Whether there is a fair value gap, FVG at $1.50 on XRP, requires a direct visual analysis of the XRP price chart, as FVGs are
that easy. So, but with Bitcoin, it's a more well-known, it's more well-discussed. There's a lot more discussion online. So, it's hit or miss, but I'm telling you, when you can find stuff that is being... It's so crazy to know what the elites were actually doing, and it pisses me off. Didn't you ever wonder when you were a kid why every article seemed the same? Didn't you ever wonder why when you were watching a TV show, every speech was the same? Didn't you ever wonder why every president that was elected always gave the same stupid speech? Didn't you ever wonder why every single talk show said the same dumb things? Didn't you ever wonder why everybody always says the same things on TV? They had this AI shit a decade or 2 decades before us. It's ridiculous. It's so easy to see now. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like these trading bots, trading algorithms, they've had these for decades. That's why it was always like, well, how would they know? Well, because they knew it was at the bottom 5% of a actual, in the last 52 weeks. They knew what the chatter was based on an algorithm, based on the analytics that were taken up. It's so, oh my God, it pisses me off so much. But it also makes me feel so good. Because do you want to be without it or do you want to be in the know? By being in the know, you have to be in the out, and your friends have to look like you're some kind of idiot. Most of us don't have friends. I don't have any friends. Literally none. Because 1, I can't tolerate most people. 2, I'm very independent. And 3, when I start hanging around other people, it starts to make me skew what I'm trying to do. So unless you find the exact person you want to be around, like Julie, unless you find the exact group, then it starts to break into it. So with this community, what I'm trying to say here is by having community here, we can see all of this. we can see all of it coming. Even if I don't see it in the live, somebody's going to say it like, hey, Tom, why don't you take a look at this? I was trying to come up with a name earlier today, and it was beautifully brought up in the live, as you know. And it just, and it was just with the semiconductors and the hydrogen and all this other crap. And just the not hydrogen, but just the fact that there's just so much stuff that we have to be worried about right now, and it's not, to be worried is good, because that's where opportunity is. You know, when people are worried and scared, there becomes opportunity. Do you know why? Because oftentimes it's not until you only have 6 months left, not just to live, but when you realize you've got 6 months left to pay your bills, you've got 6 months left for this, or you got 2 months left, then you start to scramble in survival mode. Well, right now I've been in survival mode because I know on this next flip, it's not going to be just so easy. Let's buy XRP at 35 cents, or let's buy Bitcoin at 18,000. You know, it's not going to be that easy, because Bitcoin going, that same move is going to be like 700,000. I'm sorry. You can punch me in the face when we get there. I don't fucking see it. I can't see it. I want to see it. I don't see it. And that's what we're being sold. Why else would they tell us all of this? How realistic is it? I almost feel like this isn't right. Guys, look, I can show you a perfect correlation of why it isn't right. Look at XRP's volume. Where's it at? Where's it? It went into hibernation. Like, there is no volume. Look. There's just no volume here. And we're on a massive bear flag right now. That's going to bring us to like $1.82. I'm just saying. There's just no... Friday the 13th, the movie series. Indeed it was, Sean. Indeed it was. But listen, this is what you look for. Okay, so what? We're having a rotational flip. Who called it 6 months ago and put everybody in position if they wanted to be? That's why you're here. We talked about rotational flip. You want to see volume? You see the volume coming into commodities all of a sudden, like I told you would happen when we flipped? It's starting to come in now. That's what you want to start seeing. Look at this. It's not just on one. It's all volume is increasing. It's ticking up here as of late. Look at Hecla. It's starting to, you can see a noticeable pickup, and right here, and you need to know your history. Pan America Silver, they had a merger and acquisition. They had an acquisition and took over another company in a mine. So their books didn't look good, and I told everybody, oh my God, at $21 and whatever cents it was right here, I'm buying this, and we can't sell this anymore. $22 it says here. Yeah, I mean, that's where it dropped down to, and then it was down here. But so, okay, so it was down to 22.14 here. And like, look at the volume. It's picking back up. And there was a lot of sell volume because a lot of people have seen that when it came across and it showed their negative balance, they sold. Same thing they did with First Majestic when they had the merger and acquisition, or the acquisition down here. And now look at it. It's just going out of fucking control. But look at the volume. See the noticeable volume uptick? Look at B2 Gold. See the volume? See how it's picked up here as of late? Especially in the last like few months here. It's noticeably more congested. If you go farther back, the volume is dead back here for years. Now it starts to pick up here. Even Barrick Gold, you're starting to see it come alive again. And I probably should have put it in the weekly, or just so it's easier to see. But you're starting to come alive again. Look at that. That's what I mean. You want volume. And like, I don't need to show you a class that we don't talk about. We talk about this. Look at the surge. We need something. Give us something. Even if it's sell volume, please give us something. Look at this. Look at how good that looks on First Majestic. A weekly engulfing candle to end the week like that. Do you know how bullish that looks right now? Sure, it could go sideways and down next week, but right now it looks fucking great. And it will go down at some point. But this is back tested. The volume's looking good. Like, we're getting volume now. Like, I want to see this for the crypto. And then when I go to crypto, I look and I say, okay, well, we've had such a big downturn. There's got to be somebody buying it. I'm wrong, because look at that. Nobody's buying it. Nobody right now. That's what I'm saying. Eventually, we're going to get that big spike. If it comes in bullish, oh, Lord, have mercy. We're going to get both sectors at the same time, and I'm going to... That was 6 months ago, Legendary. That was my advice 6 months ago. For anybody who's asking that question, is the time to sell crypto and buy mining stocks. That was precisely my advice 6 months ago when I was getting beaten. Actually lost a fair amount of viewers because of it, but I was just being honest that we're about to have a big a drop. Where is this at? How many? Oh, I gotta go back 6 months. Oh my god. I'll show you. But when we're bullish, man, we get views, lots of views. When we're not so bullish, people leave. I'm excited for the next time. Man, I do a lot of lives. This is insanity. Man, remember the come up? This was so nice. So nice. I don't even know where it's at. Somewhere it's at. So hard to see it like this. I don't even know where it's at. Was it a video? Who knows? I do so many videos that I can't figure it out anymore. But I brought it up a while ago. I know I did. I showed you guys on the live. I can't figure it out now. I just can't figure it out. I might have just did it like... Let's see. Let's see. XRP. Why I sold 75% of my crypto and turned to gold. And I know nobody else said this, so mine should pop up. Of course not. Come on, you can't even put up XRP Future Millionaires shit. Whoops. Probably because I typed it very poorly, but let's see. XRP. But anyhow, it's not even that important to be honest. Oh, there it is. Stream 5 months ago. Why I sold 75% of my crypto and turned focus to gold and silver. Doesn't everybody remember that time when everybody got so mad at me? Look at the difference in views. That's when you know I'm not being shadow banned. But not just that. That's when you know we're in a bull market. But that's the very video that people are like, well, what the fuck? But, you know, it's no different than 21 when I was like, this is what has to happen. So, yeah, that if you're looking for the transition, that would have been the time. Right now, you've dropped between 50 and 60% in crypto, depending on your altcoin. While the mining stocks have simultaneously, silver's gone up 25%, gold's gone up 35%, and the miners have gone anywhere from 35 to 85 or 90%. So it's been a very big turn. But that's why I'm here. You and me both, Sir Captain Sticks. And Sir Captain Sticks, you can say it like, you can tell everybody who's not in this position. The more money you have, yes, it's true, the easier it is to lose. But when you have a winning, or you have a basic understanding, or at least a winning formula that you stick by no matter what, instead of having a let's say a $5,000 trade hit for 40%, and you're like, ooh, $5,000 on 40%, you're like, oh my God, I made, you know, what is that? I don't know, fucking 50% of 5 is 20. So what, 2 grand? I made 2 grand. Well, now, instead of that, or you have 10 grand and you make 40%, that's 4 grand. Or when you started, you had $1,000 and you made $400. Well, now let's say you got 50 grand and you make 40%. Now all of a sudden you're talking about like 20 grand instead of 2. Let's say, like for me, that's where I'm at with my miners now. When I started, I'd have like 3,500, 5,000, 7. You guys know the story. I've been doing it for years on miners. Now I have 53,000. So now if it goes up 10%, I make 500. If it goes up 50%, I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, what if it 1x's from here? What if my miners 1x? What if they 10x? We're not even talking about crypto. That's what I mean. How this doesn't even count my gold and silver. Do you see how you become your own central bank and all of a sudden it spirals because instead of going out, I bought precious metals for years. Instead of going on vacations, I was dedicating to my trading philosophy and not day trading. You do not win day trading. 90% plus lose day trading. Let's see if Gemini knows this. I'm telling you, start bouncing some of this because all it's doing is looking up all the data on the internet. When? Oh, wait a minute.
It's challenging to provide an exact percentage of day traders for each specific market. It's widely acknowledged that the vast majority of day traders, including those in the crypto, I cannot fulfill that request. My purpose is to It's a widely accepted truth in the trading world, including crypto, that the vast
So look, and this is just getting all the information off the internet.
What are some of the biggest challenges facing the world today? Various studies and analyses consistently indicate that a very high percentage of day traders.
Oh my God. I just want to read it myself.
The overwhelming consensus from various studies and industry research indicates that a very high percentage of day traders, including those in crypto,
I'm losing. So, while exact figures can vary depending on the study and time period, it says the overwhelming consensus from various studies and industry research indicates that a very high percentage of day traders, including those in crypto, lose money. While exact figures can vary depending on the study and time period, estimates frequently suggest that upward of 90 to 95% of day traders lose money. Some studies even found that approximately 97% of day traders who persisted for a significant period over 300 days incurred losses. Less than 1% of day traders are consistently profitable after accounting for fees. Now I ask you a question. You've been watching me for over 4 years. Have I been profitable? Has my rate of return been more than the average return by doing this every single day and being in a position where I could fail every single day if I don't have the right basic understanding and the willpower not to trade when it's not necessary? Oh, I know it'll give you the wrong. I understand that you can't take it verbatim. I'm looking for things that are just polling the internet, my friend. This is just polling Google and polling different chatter. I'm looking for algorithms. I'm looking for AI. I want to see what it's telling me because I've found a formula in basketball, and you guys can laugh all you want. And I think Julie, after a while, was sitting here like, what the hell is going on? Because I started to realize it's all tied. And I don't want to get banned, but this is all tied together through AI gave us the greatest gift and the scariest reality of all times. We can now see what they see, but you have to trade accordingly. You have to do things accordingly. You have to do what makes sense. If you're watching Vegas and it says 90% of money is on one team, you could probably expect the other team to win 90% of the time. Now, there's the 10% of the time they're not going to win. That's why it's 90% of the money. Because sometimes it's not going to be so much money to where, you know, the so on and so forth team, let's just say, you know, they don't have to do these things. Now, I'm not going to, I'll show you the ones that are like, okay, well, these are, and it's weird because you start looking at it and it's not just basketball. It's not just the NBA. I can do it with anything. You know, if I see the right analytic, if I see the right number, I can do it with any. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as I am privy to the information, I can make it happen. I just need to know. And after a while, you start looking at it. And I started looking at it, and I like the NBA playoffs. Julie knows I like the NBA playoffs. And I like the way you can manipulate it. I just do. I always have. And, you know, and a lot of people are like, well, it's not consistent, which it's not. But it's the same thing. The whole point is they're trading algorithms. That's what we need to understand. We're trading against that. The hardest part of watching sports was when I realized it's all rigged. And it may not have been as rigged, but now that Vegas is into, it's all fucking rigged. It's never going to change. We just have to acknowledge the way it is. And what I found out, and this is the same thing in crypto too, once you understand that these odds are stacked against you, once you understand that there's another alternative here that we can use, and we can start to do it the way that they do it, that's all you need to do. Once you can do it the way they do it, it's a game over. Why do you think they always talk so fondly and don't want us to know so many things? Why do you think this is the thing that really got me going. Why in the Ripple case did they redact so much stuff is what I want to know. Why did they redact so much stuff, especially when it came to, because they claimed, right, the whole time that the Ripple case was about saving investors from the manipulation from Ripple and saving our money and all that. Why at the very spot where we could have found out, why did they redact the difference between what we had to buy in a retail exchange and what the big corporations were paying Ripple to buy? Why would they do that if it was for our interest? Because they don't want us to know how cheap it is for everybody else. They don't want you to know we're not invited to the club. We never have been. We never will be. But what we can do is try to figure out what the club is. We got to figure out what they're doing. And I'm showing you little tricks and secrets of, this is why I listen to Peter Schiff, why I listen to Jordan Peterson, why I listen to Dave Ramsey, why I listen to Robert Kiyosaki and Mike Maloney, and I start filling my head with the ones who are starting to put the same spin together, so then I can see when something's not right. I can see when something is right. And Peter Schiff, he's put there, yes, but his gimmick is not crypto. So everybody's like, oh, why would you listen to him for precious metals when he doesn't know shit about crypto? If I listened to Peter Schiff for crypto, I'd be an idiot. Okay, he doesn't do that. He's not a crypto guy, but his son, and this is why I say it's all controlled, it's all a big game. He might not own it, right? But his son, Peter Schiff's son, has a ton of Bitcoin and he's made a shitload of money off of it. Who do you think gave him that advice? His dad might be showing the public eye, but he's telling him, hey, this is a different form. I can't buy it. And you're just wee big, and nobody's going to believe I told you this anyhow. This is what you need to do. I'm telling you, it's all deception. It's all deception. It is all deception. And like, it's actually not as bad as it seems. It's not as bad as it seems, because with deception, there comes opportunity if you're just willing to take it. I can't even explain it. So what I'm trying to say with numbers, and this is not a flex because I'm not giving fucking picks for anybody, but once you start to realize that there's an actual narrative here, and this isn't one game, you know, there's a couple bets here on the one game, but this isn't one time. Look how many times in the playoffs I've done this. And Julie wakes up and she's like, this can't even be possible. It's all the time. I could send you this over and over. And it's not even just that. There's the WNBA, there's this, there's the NHL. I have so many more I could send you. It's sickening. But it's always the same thing. They always put the public always has 95% on something, but you can't bet at the beginning. You've got to wait for it to materialize at halftime so you can see the shenanigans. Okay, 90% of the money's on this team to win the money line, and they're getting crushed at halftime, right? They may not come back and win, or let's say at halftime, 90% on a team, and the team that has 90% of the money on them to win will be up by 10 or 15. Well, then the other team, yeah, you can sit there and be like, well, if 90% of the money's there and this is that, and I get the plus and minus odds, or you're looking, I always look for the plus minus and the anomaly with the over under. Like the game starts off very poor, starts off high pace or whatever the case. And I always wait until halftime. I found a very big key. You don't do it before a game, you do it after. You do it at halftime. You do it at halftime. And it's the same thing. Once you start to train your brain with the numbers, you can always see the anomaly. And it's a gift and a curse at the exact same time. I tell people all the time, I don't need to just do crypto. Anything that has to do with numbers, I can find the anomaly. Anything. Like right now, the anomaly here is this is bullshit. We're in a very weekly porous move here. Unless we come up very quickly, that's a weekly reversal, and it sucks. In 10 minutes, I have to log off because we're eating dinner, and Julie made fresh bread, and we're having, what'd you make, corned beef? Not exactly my, I don't mind it, but it's not my kind of meal. But I'll eat her corned beef. I don't like cabbage, and what else?
Potatoes.
I'll try the potatoes, but they're probably going to taste like the cabbage. But that's okay. I'm going to eat it, and then we have her homemade bread.
So Thomas is eating bread.
So I'm eating it. So I'm going to eat bread.
Aw, it's funny.
Ernie's here. Our groundhog friend is here. Hi, Ernie. He's eating. You guys can't see him, I don't think. No, you certainly can't see him.
Aw.
I don't want to scare him away. Sorry, Ernie.
He's very sensitive.
He's a sensitive little guy. Oh, no. Never going to turn away the meals. Tom is the crypto rain man. I could see it. Thank you, John Patak, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. To Mr. Carter, hashtag Mother Second Choice M2C, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Says that feed sounds good, beautiful. It is. Frisky Auto says, love your content. Thanks, buddy. Hope you're having a good day. I'm having a blessed day, my friend. I really am. Deadlifts tomorrow for Alec. Yeah, not me. I might do a little bit on my, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like an Olympic style bar, but I just do curls and different things with the triceps and biceps and certain things. But I work out Monday through Friday, and then maybe Saturday I'll do a little curling or something, but it's, yeah. James sent me a picture of Tim. That's a kind of an inside joke that most won't get. It's fun to be on the inside. All right, so on the daily, the 200-day came down to the support structure, and we better hope. I'm not hoping for shit. I want this to come down to $1.50. I'm sorry for all of you. Curls for the girls. At first, I thought you said curls are for the girls. I was going to say, that might be so, but it still works out perfectly for me. But then I reread it. I didn't say there's no good crypto tokens to buy right now. There's always going to be the anomaly, and we could break through. The bottom line is, if we hold this support structure, this is actually the bare bottom to buy, which is the ironic thing. If we hold this back test and we're good to go, but I already hold XRP. I need to buy it here. You know, so that's not a question. It's the ones who haven't held it yet, or the ones who don't own it. Are you buying it here? This is where if you looked at it, you'd say, well, I'm waiting for the breakout and the back test, and then I'll buy it. Well, now it's had the breakout, and now we're back testing. Do you have the cojones to buy it, or do you have the fear that Bitcoin has to go down to that CME gap around 91.5 to 92 and some change? I'm calling it 91,000 and some change because I like to go to the bottom. I'm feeling the same way about DGB as I did a few weeks ago. I fear that there's going to be a big drop, and I'm going to take advantage of every single drop that happens to expand what I have, because this is a long-term game with DGB, and I'm going to go to the grave with it if I have to. It's just stuff I put into it all the time. And the portfolio's built itself up over the time, buying and selling. But now it's just to a point to where I'm just accumulating. This is how I felt about XRP. I didn't care what it did. And when I bought it at 34 cents, it gave me a gift at 30. That's how I feel about this. If it wants to keep coming down and go back to 004 where it all started, I'll keep buying it all the way down. And if it goes past it, I'm going to keep buying it. If somehow, some way I end up with 10 million fucking DGB, it's the way it's going to be. Do I feel good about what I see? Not entirely. Do I see a little bit of hope? Yeah, I see hope the Grim Reaper isn't coming. But it doesn't mean it's going to be right now. And when I say the Grim Reaper, I just mean the token's not going to go away. But look, that's actually a nice channel right there on this big drop. So what am I fearful of? That it comes all the way down here back to where it started. And that's not a big fear, but that's a founded fear at that. We've got the uptrend that comes through from all the way back here in 2017. So I don't think we want to lose this. Now you see my fear, right? Because if we come back through here, that's a big loss. We haven't lost that uptrend since 2017. Don't really want to start going down to those depths, because if we do, that means crypto is dying. You talk 0, 0, 0, 0. Well, we'll see before it gets all the way down there, so it's not like you won't be able to bail. But I'm just saying, there's certain key structures. Like, I won't be underwater technically unless we break 0, 0, 5. Well, it would have to be even worse from this where we started. But it's been a nice strategic game of buy, sell, but I'm sick of that game. Right now is the accumulation. It's so cheap. It's not that time for DGB. Like, it just isn't. For all we know, this is filling out that last end of this consolidation that takes us until February of next year. It takes us, you know, until December of 27. You know, you don't know. Now, if the uptrend suggests that if it takes until November of 27 and we stay in here, you know, at worst, you're going to see 0.0058, 0061. And then up here, you could see a potential breakout around 008. So being in at 004 and then buying and selling after it made the move to 2 and then buying back at 008 and then doing this. So buying it right now could be detrimental. If you're buying it for the first time and you're looking for the, I don't want it to go down anymore, this is not the right time. If you're looking for opportunities to build a bag over time, this is the right time. When it comes down to the uptrend, you start buying more. If it breaks the uptrend, you buy it down to the pattern's actual support that needs to hold. If it breaks that, well, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. Let's see. James Dula says. Yeah, me too, James. You're not wrong. The bear flags are exactly what I see as well. Unfortunately, if you're looking at DGB, I mean, it's been playing down a little bit here already. But there's a long ways to go, not just for DGB. How's it going, Julie? Oh, that was her walking down, so she can't hear me. So yeah, I mean, that's what I want you to know going into the weekend. I want you to understand if we break $2.09 here, it's a problem. Okay, and that weekly candle, we've only got 2 days and 2 hours. That volume's a problem. The fact that the volumes remain non-existent even when we've had bullish pushes is a problem. We've got to have some kind of volume to either push us out or drop us through. We don't even need a lot of volume to drop us through. But even on XRP, and what James is referring to, and I can't disagree, and we're going into the thinly traded weekend right now as we speak. Futures markets are closing. Excuse me. If that plays out, I mean, even without doing any real TA, let's say it busts out here, and you're talking about that tap down here. So pay attention. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I'm gonna go eat with Julie. Have a blessed evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in a second time. 43 minutes is better than nothing.